People crave attention. In every social setting, whether it's a royal court, a corporate office, or a group of friends, being noticed often equates to being powerful. Law 11 of the 48 Laws of Power is a stark reminder of this. Learn to keep people dependent on you. It may sound manipulative at first glance, but the core idea is about making yourself indispensable, so that others, especially those in power, cannot move forward without you. True power lies not just in rising to the top, but in staying there. And the most secure position in any hierarchy is the one where you're not easily replaceable. This is the essence of dependency. When people rely on you for their success, their stability, or their happiness, they are less likely to discard or betray you. Your value to them makes you untouchable. History offers many vivid examples of this law in action. One of the most famous is the story of Cardinal Richelieu, the advisor to King Louis XIII of France. Richelieu was not born into royalty, yet he became one of the most powerful men in Europe. How? By making himself the king's most trusted and necessary advisor. He handled all the hard decisions, all the political strategy, and ensured the king remained popular while Richelieu took the blame for any unpopular decisions. The king became so dependent on Richelieu's counsel and skills that removing him seemed impossible. Richelieu understood that usefulness was his strongest weapon. In a modern context, think of Steve Jobs and Apple. When Jobs returned to Apple in the late 90s, the company was struggling. But Jobs brought not only innovation, he brought vision. He redefined the product line, introduced the iPod, and laid the foundation for the iPhone revolution. He made himself synonymous with Apple's success. Even when board members or investors disagreed with his methods, they couldn't remove him again because Apple needed him. He had made himself essential. That is the essence of Law 11. This principle also applies on a smaller scale, in your job, in friendships, even in family dynamics. If you're just like everyone else, you're replaceable. But if you consistently provide something unique, whether it's leadership, insight, creativity, or emotional strength, you become the cornerstone that others rely on. This doesn't mean overworking or being a people pleaser. It means knowing your strengths and offering them strategically. In relationships, this law takes an interesting turn. Often, the person who is most needed emotionally has the power. If your partner leans on you for confidence, decision-making, or emotional regulation, your position in the relationship becomes secure, as long as you're not being manipulated or used, of course. Power rooted in care can be just as strong as power rooted in strategy. However, this law comes with a warning: do not become dependent on others. While you're working to make people need you, you must avoid needing them in return. Dependency should flow one way. The moment you rely too much on someone else for validation, money, status, or happiness, your power is at risk. They now control your sense of security, and the law flips against you. A brilliant example of someone who failed to understand this was Nicolas Fouquet, the finance minister under King Louis XIV. Fouquet threw a lavish party at his mansion, trying to impress the king and show off his influence. He thought he could secure his position through displays of wealth and generosity. But instead, he sparked the king's jealousy and fear. Louis XIV saw Fouquet as a threat and imprisoned him. Fouquet made himself visible and flashy, but not necessary. His mistake wasn't being powerful, it was not being indispensable. Another way to apply this law is by developing a skill that others lack. Specialization is one of the best ways to become irreplaceable. If you're the only one who can do something, and do it well, you hold leverage. In a world where many people have similar qualifications and knowledge, standing out as a unique contributor gives you control. People may not like you, but they'll need you, and in the world of power, need trumps like. Even in mentorships or alliances, this law is crucial. Help others rise, but never let them rise so far they no longer need you. Teach enough to make someone useful, but keep your edge. Power often comes from what you withhold, not just what you give. This doesn't mean sabotaging others, it means being strategic with how much you share, and when. In the end, Law 11 is about securing your position through strategic value. It's not about domination or control, it's about being so essential to the people around you that your absence would create a void they cannot fill. When done wisely, this kind of power protects you, elevates you, and gives you influence that lasts. The most powerful people aren't always the loudest or the most visible, they're often the ones everything quietly depends on.